Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I have to say I'm so proud to stand here today in support of Bill 24 and act to support gay-straight alliances. I'm going to be as brief as I can today because I think that throughout this debate we've heard many incredibly moving speeches that have been made from some of the members on this side, as well as some of our independent members. I mean, when we look at the people on this side, people who actually understand this bill and the effect that it will have on our school system, I think it's important to listen to their thoughts. I think it's important for me to stand and show my support for this piece of legislation for the many people in my life who have helped me understand why it is so important to protect these rights, the rights of my friends and the larger community, for the people who go through every single day of their life being attacked for how they identify or for who they love. This bill, of course, will require publicly funded schools to disclose their policies in regard to GSAs and QSAs. It will ensure principals have a responsibility to help create these in places where they have not already been established. And it will clarify some of the roles among school authorities for establishing a welcoming, caring, respectful, and safe learning environment. But most importantly, as has come up several times throughout this debate, it will ensure that the privacy of a student that chooses to join a GSA or QSA will be protected. Madam Speaker, every single student in this province deserves a welcoming, caring, and safe place to learn, a place where they are respected. We need to understand the value of protecting GSAs in our schools. The choice of a student to not disclose to their family that they identify as LGBTQ does not necessarily have any reflection on the quality of a parent or guardian. I was a student not that long ago, surprising or not, and I have the most incredibly accepting parents, and I am so blessed with the respect that they have given me, but that does not mean that I told them everything. I identify as a straight cis male and never had to struggle with the incredibly complex decision to come out to the wider community. But if I did have that, I can imagine that it would have taken me quite a long time before I was willing to tell my parents, even with the acceptance and the love that they showed me. It's a deeply personal matter, and no one has the right to decide when a student should come out beside the student themselves. And from the discussions that I've had with teachers and from the articles that I've seen coming from the teaching community, they do not want the responsibility to have to inform a parent when their child joins a GSA. So I am not sure why the Conservative opposition continues down this line of messaging. I really don't understand it. Once again, it is the child's decision, not a teacher's decision. And I want to share a story with you that was shared with me by a close friend in response to this legislation. When they were in school, they were coming to the realization that they identified as part of the LGBTQ community and went to a teacher. And the teacher had no understanding of this issue and asked if the student was gay. And so worried that the teacher might out this student, they told the teacher no and continued to have to hide their own identity. Without a support group at this time, this friend of mine was bullied, harassed, and even assaulted in the washrooms. They were told at home it was wrong to be gay, they were told at school it was wrong to be gay, and hence they believed that they themselves were wrong to identify how they did. And imagine the impact that has on a child. This scenario is obviously not the only way this conversation can play out, but it often has played out that way, and it's damaging to our community. Of course, we've heard the numbers around how our LGBTQ community can so easily end up marginalized and do end up. Numbers like 40% of those who find themselves homeless identifying as LGBTQ. 33% of LGBTQ youth have attempted suicide in comparison to 7% of youth in general. 49% of trans students, 33% of lesbian students, and 40% of gay students may have experienced sexual harassment in school in the last year. I wonder how the opposition can stand in this House with all of the facts in front of them and still vote against the rights of our students. At what age do our human rights start to be recognized? Once the voting age? I really don't understand. When they can vote for them? Speaker, the opposition say that they are allies, yet their newly elected leader in his long history of politics has never supported the LGBT community, not even once as far as I know, over the many, many human rights bills that he has had to make decisions over. And I really think that says something. Whether the opposition would like to admit it or not, that is their leader. We just heard a member of the opposition read into the record that Kenny has concerns about a child with a disability considering joining a GSA, that their parent should be notified because, God forbid, a child with a disability joins a GSA. It's truly shameful, Madam Speaker. And I cannot even fathom how that member was willing to read that on behalf of their new leader. It's just shameful. I just have to say that today I have never been more, well, over the last week or so of this debate, I have never been more disappointed in this opposition party. Yet I have never been more proud of this government side of the legislature, as well as some of our independents, I think most of them, who have stood up showing their support. And I have never been more proud of the people in our communities who identify as or are allies to the LGBTQ community, who continue to fight for their own rights to be respected. There is still so much more we need to do to support this community, Madam Speaker, to ensure that they are heard, respected, and protected. But I'm happy that through Bill 24, we will take one more step towards that goal. And I do thank the Minister of Education for bringing it forward. I have seen the positive impact that GSAs can make in our schools, and one of the first things that I had the opportunity to do after being elected was join our Minister of Education and the Premier of Alberta at my high school, Jasper Place High School, which I not only attended but now represent. And it was an incredible day for me and all of those high school students. And today we take another step in protecting their inalienable rights as human beings to love who they want, identify as what they want, or be an ally to who they want without being outed. I just want to wrap up with saying that the member for Strathmore Brooks said over the last 10 years, a lot of people's views on this issue have changed. I don't know about you, Madam Speaker, but my belief in the equal rights of all people has never changed. And I'd ask all of you, if you came to the conclusion that being a member of the LGBTQ community is wrong at one point or another throughout your life because of something that you were taught, I think you should take a second look at where you're learning from. Madam Speaker, there is still a lot for me to learn about supporting those in the LGBTQ community, but it starts with listening to those in the community. Thank you.